Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over 5 of the best recipe farms that you can do right now. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today we're going to be going over 5 of the best recipe farms that you can do right now. This is based on more reliability and also gold per hour as well, obviously, for obvious reasons. The only note that I will say, for instance, before we carry on with this list, is recipes are usually treated much like transmog is, so it takes a long time to actually sell these types of recipes, unless you've got like a super rare recipe which will just be snapped up quite easily. But aside from all of that, guys, that is pretty much what I wanted to know before we started this list. Now let's just crack into number 1, which is the Arcanite Reaper farm. Now the Arcanite Reaper farm is by far one of the most reliable farms, and this is done in the lower Blackrock Spire. What you'll be wanting to do is make a macro, which is /target Bannock Grimaxe. This rare actually randomly spawns within this actual dungeon, and what you can actually do is jump into the actual instance, press the macro. If it targets him as soon as you've actually zoned in, then you know that the rare is up. If not, go out and reset the instance, then go back in. This is by far one of the most fastest farms. It's one of the most reliable farms because when Bannock Grimaxe is up, you can jump down and head over to him, which is in the actual dungeon, and then all you have to do is kill him, and he has roughly a 10% chance of dropping this item. This is quite good in the grand scheme of rare recipes, which is Arcanite Reaper is kind of a high-priced recipe overall. So if you are wanting something that you can do fast and easy every hour, and also has a decent gold per hour with a decent sell rate, and is also moderately reliable in its gold making potential, then this farm is definitely for you. The only thing that you will have to sacrifice, however, is your lockouts. So if you have another farm in which you want to do with lockouts, then I wouldn't recommend this farm. But if you're okay with just camping this actual dungeon and going in every single hour, you will definitely get a load of these plans. Mainly, you could do this once a day for a week, a load of these plans of the Arcanite Reaper, and then you're good and stocked for Shadowlands. So then you don't have to farm this for a good while in order for all of those recipes to actually sell. The only thing I would recommend, however, is if you do actually farm up a load of this recipe, do not put more than 1 on the auction house. Otherwise you'll crash the market, and you will get sales, but here's the thing. You're actually going to lose gold in the long run, which overall is not a very good thing for anyone. That being the case, let's move into number 2, which is a transmog farm, but also one of the best recipe farms out there, and that is by doing the Sunwell. The Sunwell trash farm, to be precise. Now what you'll be wanting to do is running into the Sunwell and gathering up all of the mobs up to the first boss. You do not kill any of the bosses, however. What you'll be wanting to do is gather up all of those trash, burn them down, and then go out and reset the instance. This is made far easier if you use a druid with their Dreamwalk ability, as it takes you directly out of the instance and directly in front of the entrance of the actual instance, in which you can actually reset and jump back in again. This is by far one of the most easiest farms in order to do, and overall in an hour's worth of lockouts you can get some real high priced transmog, and you can also get some really high priced recipes that go along with that. I mainly do this farm if I'm really in need of high value recipes, and overall it's by far one of my most reliable ones, because I always tend to get at least 2 or 3 recipes whenever I'm actually doing this, and quite frankly those BC recipes tend to sell for a hell of a lot more gold than you really need them to be, so it's really good. Overall I really do endorse this actual farm for recipe farming, and quite frankly the Sunwell is definitely my go-to when actually farming up recipes in general. From that at number 3 we have the enchant for lesser parry, or the enchant shield of lesser parry. This actual recipe can actually be farmed up, and I know I've been able to get it from Alderman farming, and I know that I've actually been able to get it from lockboxes, but the most reliable way in order to farm this up is by actually going to the Western Plaguelands. What you'll be wanting to do there is go over to this area on the screen right now and killing the globules, which are dotted around the area. These have at least an 8% chance of actually dropping this recipe. This is by far one of the best ways in order to farm up this enchant, and on the EU average it usually goes for anywhere around about 40,000 gold for this particular recipe. This is by far one of the easiest ways to actually farm up the enchant of Lesser Parry, unless you want to test your luck by farming a level 40 or an old world before the revamp level 40 dungeon. That would be like Alderman, RFK, all that jazz. Aside from all of that, these ones have the highest drop chance for this actual particular recipe, and there is quite a few of them in that vicinity. If you actually take your time actually killing these guys, you should have them respawning as soon as you've finished your little loop around the area, killing all of those guys. In addition to that, they also drop some really nice transmog that goes along with that, so you're not going to leave without empty pockets, now are we? Aside from all of that, this is definitely a farm in order to actually worth checking out. And other than that, guys, let's just get into number 4, which is the Sulfuron Hammer plans, which I alluded to the other day. Basically, what you'll be wanting to do is picking up a Sulfuron ingot off of the auction house, or you could just go into the Molten Core and kill one of the last bosses. Basically, what you'll be wanting to do is, by getting a Sulfuron ingot and heading your way all the way over to Black Rock Depths. And inside there, you'll want to make your way over to the Grim Guzzler. In there is a quest giver who will actually be able to trade that Sulfuron ingot within there in order to get a hold of the plans for the Sulfuron Hammer. There is one catch, however, which is it is one time only quest per character. So if you've done it on your character already, you can't get it again. Aside from that, if you do have loads of ults, as a lot of people are leveling these days at the moment since the new revamp, then you've definitely got more Sulfuron Hammer plans, which you then can sell on the auction house for a pretty penny. This usually averages anywhere from around about 10,000 gold to 25,000 gold for those plans, and it's a nice way in order to get some sizable amount of gold. Even if you don't already have it on your blacksmith, you can then sell those plans to actually get additional gold overall, and it's just a nice way to pad out your auction house with other different types of recipes. Aside from all of that, let's move into number 5, which is the Karazhan Trash Farm. Now, Karazhan Trash Farm is pretty self-explanatory. What you'll be wanting to do is skip past the first boss, which is the horse boss, and gather up all of the mobs up until the second boss. What you'll be wanting to do there is make your way around that second boss, and then just gather up all of the mobs in that dance hall. If you actually burnt them all down, you can either use your Dreamwalk ability in order to get out and go back into the instance, or you could use the Proving Grounds technique. If failing that, you don't have any of those methods, then you'll have to run back into the instance, which makes the run a little bit longer, but overall it's better with a druid, let's just be honest. What you'll be wanting to do is just gather up all of those mobs, burn them down, and just loot them. You'll be able to have a chance of getting some really high-end recipes, and not only that, if you're on a stable economy on your server for transmog, you'll get a decent gold per hour for transmog as well. This one also has the potential of dropping the Blade of Wizardry from this, so you won't leave empty pockets if transmog is your thing as well. By the way, the Blade of Wizardry does drop, it just takes a very long time to drop. But what you're mainly going in for this farm is recipe farming, because it has a high potential of actually dropping a load of high-end recipes when you're actually going about doing this farm. Aside from all of that, guys, that is pretty much all I have to say for the 5 best recipe farms. The video was actually brought up to me by Catitude TV on my Patreon. Catitude asked if there was any recipe farms that I actually knew about that they could actually go about doing, and subsequently I've actually just turned it into a video for ease of use for you, Catitude. Other than that, guys, have an awesome rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon? Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.